Okay. Hey, boys and girls, welcome. I am Dr. Joe Esposito. Glad you're with me today. Today, we're going to talk about a plant-based diet, a vegan diet. Is it dangerous? What dangers are there involved? So we're going to talk about that today. If you're new to the show, what I do is I talk for 24 minutes. You listen, and if you have any health questions, type it in whatever platform you're on. And then I will answer your questions. I'll do another 24 minutes, and then we'll answer your questions again. So it's a great opportunity for you to get your health questions answered. People have health questions every day, don't know where to turn, and many times their doctor may not be an expert in that field. And so we try to get as much coverage as we can on getting to the cause of your healthcare problems, not just treating the symptoms. So we're going to talk about the truth about a plant-based diet today, and it's actually good news. So we are ready to start whenever you guys are. So if you want to give me my clock, and we'll get rocking. I got a big clock behind you guys, so I got to see what's going on. So you ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am glad you're with me today. Today, we're going to talk about plant-based diets, vegan diets. Are they dangerous? We're going to talk about some of the concerns that people have, myself included, and we're going to talk about the pros and the cons. So this is a great opportunity to answer the question, what can I eat? Because people come to me all the time and say, Dr. Joe, I've heard your lectures. I've heard other doctors speak. It's confusing, isn't it? Some doctors say all meat. Some people say no meat, high protein, high fat, low fat. We're going to cover that today. What really is the ideal diet for most people? And the key is this. No matter what diet you choose, you want to go keto, you want to go vegan, you want to go raw, you want to go paleo, the key is staying away from processed foods the best you can. Now, we're going to take it to another level beyond that. When I say processed foods, anything that's not like it was when it came from nature. So, if I'm going to have, sunflower seeds, okay, good. Sunflower seed oil, probably not the best thing. It's been processed. So, the further away we get from the way it was picked, not a good idea. So, vegan diet, vegetarian diet. Vegetarian means you don't eat meat, but you might eat some other animal products, a little more flexible. You might do eggs, you might do honey, things like that. So a vegan diet is totally devoid of animal products. A plant-based diet is mostly plants. So again, don't worry about the semantics. It's really not that important. Now, some people choose to eat more plants for health reasons. Some people do for ethical reasons. Some people do for financial reasons. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to eat healthy than it's not. Now, you're thinking to yourself, well, that's not true, Dr. Joe. Junk food is cheap. I could buy 5 boxes of macaroni and cheese for $5. Well, that's true, too. But if you're going to get some nutrients in your body, by far and away, it's less expensive eating more of a plant-based diet. Now, a lot of documented health benefits to eating a vegan diet. Some find the lifestyle a little challenging. We're going to talk about that. If you want to go that way, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I think you should. We're going to talk about how to face those challenges. It's not hard. Pros. Evidence that health benefits are like crazy good. Encourages mindful eating. You start thinking about what you're eating instead of just shoving calories into your mouth. Great variety of foods. Most people, if I told you right now, just to write down everything you ate for the past year, of course you couldn't do that, you would probably see a pattern, I'd say about 6 or 8 foods coming up over and over again. You had bacon and eggs, you had a hamburger, you had milkshake, you had french fry, whatever it is. You'd see a pattern of most of it, a majority of it being the same foods over and over again. So when I talk to people about changing their diet, I say, listen, just take those 6, 8 foods, whatever, and replace them with 6 or 8 other foods. I have the same problem you do. I eat a really good diet. And I have the same problem. I seem to eat the same foods over and over again. That's okay. We're going to talk about what to do about that too. It's going to be way less expensive. It's better for the environment. And if you care about the animals, very little animal impact. Some of the cons. People say, well, I'm limited on my food choices. Not necessarily. I go to restaurants a lot. It seems like everybody in the world wants to take Dr. Joe out to dinner. And when I go, in fact, I was just at a very, very fancy steakhouse in Atlanta 3-4 nights ago. And open bar, anything I wanted on the menu, oysters, steaks, ribs, anything I wanted, meatballs. And I could have had anything I wanted. Now, there was one choice that was on the menu that was plant-based. I could have asked to create like a veggie plate or something like that too. But there was one choice on the menu. Now, when you talk about limited options, how many choices do you usually make when you go out to dinner? One. I'm going to have that as my main course. So it actually, I find, makes life a lot easier because with the limited choices, it kind of makes the decision for you. And that's kind of fun too. It does require a little bit of diligence, very little. We'll talk about that in a second. Dining out, never a problem. I've been eating this way for 38 years now, and I've never missed a meal. I've been to Las Vegas. I've been on cruises. I've been a guest speaker at conferences. Many, many times I'm a guest speaker at conferences. There's always something. Now, it may not be your ideal choice, but there's always something. And it was interesting. Just this week, I had a patient come in, and I won't say his name because if you're from Atlanta, you'll know him. And I didn't realize he was that guy. Came in, swollen prostate, overweight, blood pressure issues, low libido, low function. And so we talked for a little bit, and I did a whole dietary workup on him. And I said, we want to get the foods that are high in estrogens out of your diet that can cause prostate inflammation. He says, yeah, all my doctors say I have too much inflammation in my body. So I did the whole workup. I discussed what I'm going to discuss with you guys today. And he says, I'm in the restaurant business. And I said, oh. And he says, it's challenging because I could walk by and there's ribs and there's barbecue and there's everything else. And I said, well, do what I say for 60 days and let's see what happens. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But give me 60 days. I can do that. Absolutely. My prostate is a very serious issue and I'm very worried. And he hands me his card, and he is a well-known restaurateur in Atlanta, and mostly meat. And I kind of walked away smiling going, wow, I just had a come to Jesus meeting with the meat king of Atlanta. But he came to me because he realized what he was doing wasn't working. And I said, give me 60 days and see if I'm right. And I tell all my patients that. Give me 60 days and see if I'm right. I haven't been wrong yet, but give me 60 days to see if I'm right. Other things, people have unrealistic expectations. You can still be unhealthy and eat a plant-based diet. Chocolate cookies with cream filling? Yeah, guess what? They're vegan. Doesn't mean it's good for you. So you have to do a little diligence and you have to think a little bit. And as far as social isolation goes, I have a lot of friends. I go to a lot of parties, a lot of events. I'm going to a water tasting tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. They're having waters brought in from all over the world, and they wanted my opinion as which one they think they should import in for this one very, very high-end hotel. And they asked me specifically would I come and give my opinion, and I thought that's kind of nice. So social isolation is extremely limited. The only issue I ever had, I have to joke, I always laugh about this, many, many, many years ago, somebody fixed me up on a blind date. And she was a veterinarian. And we went out to dinner, and afterwards, the girl who set us up said, what'd you think about her? I said, she was nice. There wasn't a lot of chemistry there, but a pleasant girl. And she told the girl who set us up, she said, I can never go out with him. He doesn't eat meat. And I thought, wow, that's the first time in all the years that I've been taking care of myself that somebody, and again, there was no chemistry there anyway. And I kind of joked because I said, she's a veterinarian. I don't eat her clients. She should be happy I'm not eating her clients. But other than social isolation, it actually becomes a conversation starter. What do you got there? That looks great. That's wonderful. And I don't make a big deal of it unless somebody asks me, then I bring it up. So some of the pros, getting the health benefits, of course, this is the number one reason I think everybody should eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. It's easy to load up on healthy legumes and fruits and vegetables, and many people are lacking these things in their diet. And fiber is such a key to good health because most of us don't get enough fiber. I heard 10% of the people in the population get enough fiber. Now, fiber does a lot of things. Number one is it cleans out your colon. Now, your colon is a tube. It's a muscular tube. And when it fills up and expands, there's something called stretch receptors in the colon. And as the stretch receptors fire off, it tells the colon to contract. Makes you go to the bathroom. If you don't have fiber, you don't have enough stretch to fire off the stretch receptors. So yes, fiber pushes it through the colon. That's one of the reasons why. And if you drink a lot of water, it causes the fiber to swell up even more, which is good for you too. But fiber also can help you not absorb certain things like so much sugar. This is why when I teach diabetics, I'm so big on them eating a high fiber diet. Because sugar, the fiber can wrap around some of the sugar and carry it out of the system, but it can also block up your sugar receptor sites, which means you don't absorb as much sugar. And that's a good thing. Same thing with cholesterol. If you're eating a high fiber diet, your body breaks down cholesterol, passes it into the gallbladder squirts it into the small intestine, and then it's carried out. If you have a low fiber diet, a lot of that cholesterol gets reabsorbed. Not a good situation. So if you have fiber, it kind of wraps around the cholesterol and carries it out of the system, along with other waste products and toxins, heavy metals, things like that. So the fiber is so important. You can't get fiber unless it's from a plant. Animal protein and animal products have zero fiber. So another reason to it. Also great sources of, vitamin C, magnesium, iron, folate, lower calories, less saturated fats. I mean, there's so many benefits to eating more fruits and vegetables. Now, if you're not willing to go totally plant-based or totally vegan, I'm okay with that. I'm going to negotiate with you. I want you to eat something fibrous, preferably raw, at every meal. So if you're going to have a barbecue sandwich, I want you to have a salad with it. The more fiber and the more plants you eat, the better you're going to feel. And when you start to feel better, now you have an awareness. Because so many people are sick all the time. And they refuse to change their diet or change their lifestyle or get chiropractic care or take supplements, whatever it is. And they feel sick all the time. So this is their normal. And so when you start changing the diet, eating more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, that normal, you start feeling better. And then you go back to your old lifestyle and say, I had no idea how bad I was feeling until I started feeling good. That's another reason I recommend supplements. I said the minimum supplements people should take should be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. I take a scoop of each. I shake it up with some coconut milk, almond milk, a little jar at my house, and I drink that first thing in the morning. And when I get people doing that, even just for a week, they'll come back and say, Doc, I really see a difference. Because it's like the minimum supplements that you need. I then take vitamin D as well because I'm not out in the sun enough, and vitamin D does so many different things, one of which is absorb calcium, immune system, brain function, does a lot of things. So I take vitamin D. If you take vitamin D3, which you should, I take vitamin K2 with it, and it's in the supplement that I have on my website, drjoe.com. It's vitamin D3 with vitamin K2. One of the things vitamin D does is absorb calcium and puts it in the blood. Vitamin K2 takes it out of the blood and drives it into the bones, and vitamin K2 creates an enzyme, and that enzyme does that, but you don't need to know the chemistry. So if you're taking vitamin D3 without K2 and not eating a good plant-based diet, because you can get K2 from a plant-based diet, you run the risk of increasing your risk of heart disease. So I don't want you taking more vitamin D3. I want you to take vitamin D with K2, and that works very, very well. So those are the minimum supplements. Those are on my website, by the way, drjoe.com. I take a B complex as well because B vitamins are how we utilize nutrients. B vitamins help create the enzymes that allow the body to burn glucose and utilize nutrients. And most of us are deficient in B vitamins, and B vitamins are water soluble. That means you pee them out every day. So you need to replace them every day. It's not like you can build up a store of B vitamins. So I take Dr. Joe's B complex as well. If you take a B complex, make sure it's methylated. Methylated means it's in a form that you can absorb. Most B vitamins on the market are not methylated because it's cheaper. Doesn't mean it's the same thing. Cyanocobalamin, which is B12, has cyanide hooked onto it. Methylcobalamin is easily absorbed. So, yeah, you want to be careful what you take. My German grandfather, very quiet man, very big man. And profound. When he spoke, he meant it. And I remember he said, Joseph, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. So it doesn't matter how cheap or expensive a supplement is. If you can't absorb it, it doesn't matter. Or food. So that's why, and our products are extremely reasonably priced. So they're on the website, drjoe.com. So Super Greens and Essential Source minimum. Please, at least do that. The B complex, the vitamin D. And then I can customize a plan. We can do either in-person consultation or remote consultation. I can customize a plan around your needs as well. But that's like the starter kit, the 101. Now, if you do want to become a patient of ours, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, digestive issues, heartburn, acid reflux, we have protocols for erectile dysfunction, brain issues, Go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com, make an appointment. So many people, and I've been doing this 40 years, so many people come to me and say, Dr. Joe, why didn't I come here sooner? Why did I suffer for so long? And my answer is, I don't know. And most people say to me, I say back to them, I don't know. Why didn't you come here sooner? I didn't know that any of these protocols existed. I thought if you had a headache, you had to take aspirin. If you had back pain, you had to have injections or take pain pills. I didn't know there were alternatives that were less expensive, more effective. Yes, there are. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. If you're ever in a car accident, please, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. You need to come see us right away. And you will get phone calls from scammers. Everybody's a scammer, it seems, lately, right? Scammers will call you and say, hey, come see this doctor, come see this lawyer. I'm calling from your insurance company. I'm calling from the hospital. It's a lie. No one will ever call you to tell you to go see a doctor or a lawyer. In fact, if they do, it's illegal. It's a felony. So if you need advice, come to my office, call me, send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions and maybe kind of become the captain of your ship, your health ship, and kind of direct you as to where to go. We can't fix everything, but we have neurosurgeons, we have orthopedic surgeons, we have psychologists, psychiatrists, dentists. These are people that I know and I trust that I go to. And if I don't trust them working on me, I don't trust them working on you. So I'd like to be the captain of your health ship, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right now. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my listeners, to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays on a follow-up visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. I want to be your doctor. I want to get to the cause of your problems, not just treat the symptoms. It's okay to treat the symptoms, but I want to get to the cause. All right, so we're talking today about the dangers of a plant-based diet. That's a tongue-in-cheek response because plant-based diet really is going to be the best. A lot of studies confirm their findings, and they found that plant-based eating may be helpful in the treatment and management of high blood pressure, diverticular disease, and even cataracts. I have macular degeneration. I was told 10 years ago I'd be blind by now. My vision has actually gotten better. And a lot of it, not all of it, has to do with I take Dr. Joe Super Greens, Dr. Joe Essential Source, nitric oxide to increase circulation to my whole body, including my eyes. I take vitamin D. So plant-based diet, I stay away from free radicals. I do the things that are necessary to actually start to reverse my macular degeneration. Most doctors don't know there's anything that can be done for that. Now, I can't promise results, but you go to my website, just type in macular degeneration, you'll see pictures of my eyes getting better and better every year. So where I was told I'd be blind, I showed them. My vision's getting better. So another good thing about plant-based diet is you kind of become aware of what you're eating and you don't just shove food down your throat. And you have an amazing variety of food. I guess there's about 120,000 plant-based foods you can eat. Most people eat about 4 or 5 different foods. Meat, dairy products, alcohol, sugar, wheat, sodas. So they usually eat what I call the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, and they avoid the other 120,000 projected foods that they can enjoy. I love experimenting. I love trying new cuisines. I love trying new food. And I remember many, many, many years ago, I went to an Ethiopian restaurant, and I had a coupon. That's why I went. I was a student at the time, and it was cheap. It was buy one, get one free. And I said, well, had a date. It's a great way to go. And I think it cost like $8 at the time for the 2 of us. And the food was spectacular. And that's become my favorite cuisine now. So try different things. Shake it up a little bit and watch what happens. I think you'll be amazed how you start to expand your horizons and you start experiencing new things. You could have avocado sushi instead of fish sushi. That's what I do if I go out. Eggplant sushi, garlic sushi. So there's so many different options that you've never even thought existed. And in fact, if you don't know what to eat, go to my website, drjoe.com, and you'll just type in, so what can I eat? And you could listen to a lecture that I gave on all the wonderful options that there are. So there's so much variety. You're probably going to start to lose weight. Most people lose weight when they go to a plant-based diet. Now, in 2018, a 16-week clinical trial found that a vegan diet proved to be superior in controlling weight and improving body mass. Broad evidence review published in 2017 found plant-based diets were an effective tool in managing and preventing overweight and obesity. So there's plenty of studies out there showing that this can be done. Again, if you don't know what to eat, drjoe.com, just type it in. The other thing I find is that a lot of times, and I have this problem too, so I can't even say meat eaters have this problem, is your stomach can actually spasm and push up against your diaphragm. And when that happens, you might have heartburn, acid reflux, bad breath, burping, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation. And one of the coolest things you can do is take your stomach and adjust it. We can do that. And pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. And when you do that, amazing things happen. You start absorbing nutrients better. You start breaking down proteins into amino acids. Amino acids become neurotransmitters in your brain. Your brain works better. Incredible things happen when you're able to eat the right foods and absorb the right foods. So if you have heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, come see us. Let's see if we can adjust your stomach, and people just love it. I did an unofficial study one time. 85% of my patients have this problem. 15% don't. That's surprising. So these results have been amazing, and we've been doing this for years and years and years. And all my doctors are trained to do stomach adjustments because they do it on me. And when mine acts up, my breath stinks. I feel bloated. I feel fat. And I know right away I got to get my stomach adjusted. And I get my stomach pulled down. Within minutes, I start to see changes. So it's kind of cool. So that's another benefit of a plant-based diet. Mine occurred when I was a meat eater, and it just stretched out my muscles, and I have problems with it now. It's going to be a whole lot cheaper. No doubt meat, seafood, dairy products are expensive, and it's so much less expensive to eat a plant-based diet. And here's a little trick I can recommend to you. Next time you go to a restaurant, cover up the food and look at the prices. And the cheapest thing on a menu, I found, inevitably, is the healthiest thing on a menu. May not be healthy, healthier. And so it's so much more fun. And if you don't drink, of course I don't drink, but if you don't drink, that's going to save you a ton of money as well. I'm amazed how expensive alcohol is. I don't drink, so I don't know that. But I remember years ago I was out to dinner, and the person I was with, it was a business meeting, and I said, I got dinner tonight. So he had a couple of, I don't know, Jack and Cokes, whatever it was. I don't even know. And one drink was more expensive than my meal. So it's a whole lot less expensive. And, you could always pregame, as we preload is what the kids are calling it now, have a drink before you go. We did that back in college. So. And again, if you're worried about the environment, it's much better for the environment. You don't kill animals. So there's so many benefits to eating more of a plant-based diet. Now, let's talk about some of the downside of it. We talked about limited food choices. If you go to a restaurant, most of the menu, in most cases, is going to be more geared toward the omnivore diet. An omnivore diet means you eat anything. Meat, vegetables, whatever it is. So I don't find it restrictive because I've already been places where I didn't see any main courses, let's say, that were plant-based. And especially if you're in a high-end restaurant, it's really easy. I'll say, listen, I'd like a vegan dish. No problem, sir. And usually, sometimes it's some of the best meals I've ever had. Some incredible foods. I was at another steakhouse in Atlanta a couple of months ago, and it's a chain, not a big chain, but a chain of restaurants. And I said, I don't eat animal products. And the waiter winked at me. He goes, dude, me neither. And the food was spectacular. And it was one of the best meals I ever had. And again, probably half the price of everything else on the menu, which is kind of cool. Now, I want to talk about some potential nutritional deficiencies. And I get this a lot. Where do you get your protein from? Where do you get your calcium from? People that are more evolved, where do you get your B12 from? Where do you get your iodine from? Things like that. Vegan diet can lack certain things. Now, one of the things that we talk about is calcium, and I'll go through these. I'll discuss the arguments I get. And not the arguments, but the concerns I have. Well, where do you get your dairy? Where do you get your calcium if you don't drink milk? Now, milk is high in calcium, absolutely. But when we pasteurize milk, the calcium can bind to casein. And you need an enzyme called renin to break up the calcium from the casein. Well, we as humans, certainly adult humans, don't produce any renin. So you can't break up the calcium from the casein. So a lot of the calcium is bound to the casein, and it becomes a problem because it gets into the system, has to come out of the system, and can clog up your kidneys and your liver. So that's a big issue. So, and the other thing too is that you get, one of the reasons you need calcium is you have a high acid diet. You're eating alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, and acid foods need to be neutralized, and the body uses calcium to neutralize the acid. I've got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to discuss that a little further. If you want to make an appointment or send me any questions, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. We post every single day. But any questions or appointments, drjoe.com. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Okay. You have questions?
What is guar gum? Is it harmful?
Guar, was it?
Guar.
Oh, guar gum. Okay, guar gum. No, it's not really harmful. It's okay. It's a thickener. It kind of makes things stick together. It's an emulsifier. It's not the healthiest thing in the world, but usually it's used in a lot of plant-based foods, and I'm not worried about it. If that's the biggest sin you have, I'm not worried about it. It's fine. What else?
How do I know if I have diabetes? Is there a test?
Yes, absolutely. Simple blood test. You can go to, there's a place called Any Lab Test. I know they're in Georgia. I don't know if they're anywhere else, but you can just walk in and say, hey, I need my blood drawn. And they'll say, what do you want to test it for? Don't need a doctor's appointment. Don't have to pay the fees to pay a doctor. And you say, I want a blood sugar test. And you can test the A1C and your blood sugar, because the A1C is long-term, over time, what your blood sugar has been, and the blood sugar is just a picture of at that moment in time. But yeah, real simple to do. And then if you do have it, come see me, and we'll tell you what we would recommend to do.
How would I know if I have any nutritional deficiencies?
We do something called the micronutrient test, and we can send you the kit if you want to, actually. Or you can come see us. And the micronutrient test will do a whole blood panel. What we usually do at most of our patients is we don't go to the micronutrient level. We just have them fill out a survey, and based on their symptoms, we put together nutritional protocols. We can do the micronutrient test if you want to get a little deeper, and that's how we know if you have deficiencies. Yeah, and basically I can look at your diet too and kind of guess what you have. So, Garrett, what do you got?
And that test can be around $500-600.
Yeah.
But it is recommended to do generally about once a year if you're going on a more vegan path and you're just getting started. It's a great way to kind of jumpstart the whole journey and make sure after your first few months of dietary changes to make sure that you're checking all the right boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in a plant-based diet, you're probably going to get all the nutrients you need except B12, which I'm going to talk about next. But anybody should do it, because if you're not eating a plant-based diet, you have a lot more nutritional deficiency risks than if you are on a plant-based diet. So.
And as you get older, it is even recommended to do twice yearly.
Yes, it's a good idea to get that done as you're getting older, because our bodies change, our absorption level changes, the food changes. The word organic didn't exist when I was a kid. Everything was organic. We had to label the good stuff and not label the bad stuff. So, yeah, you should really get those tests done. Again, it's an option. It's there if you want it. And, again, we can do it. If you're not even a patient, we can still do it for you. So, what else? John?
That is all.
All right, cool. All right, let's do part 2. Ready? Where was I? Nutritional deficiencies, calcium. Right, okay, ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you stayed with me, thank you. Glad you did. So we're talking today, and the title of the show is Vegan Plant-Based Diet, Is It Dangerous? And we're talking about what you have to be concerned about if you do have it. But at the break, we were talking about that off the air. And we said, is there a risk about not getting enough nutrients on a plant-based diet? Yes. The risk is much higher if you're eating a non-plant-based diet. So, yes, there's a risk of all diets, so don't freak out over that. We were talking about calcium and iron, and and acids. If you eat a high-acid diet, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, those foods are acid. The body has to neutralize those acids. So the body uses calcium as its primary neutralizing agent. So the more 7 deadly sins you eat, you're sucking calcium out of the bones to neutralize the acids, and you run the risk of developing osteoporosis. And that, I feel, is the number one risk of osteoporosis. It could be hormonal, it could be age-related, but all that's related to your diet too. So again, let's go back to the source, and that's where it usually comes from. So plant-based diet, you're going to be fine. You're going to need less calcium if you're eating a plant-based diet if you eat a meat diet, because you don't have as much acid in your diet, and so you're going to get the calcium you need from your plants. There's going to be plenty of calcium out there. I mean, think about this: a cow. Cow produces milk. If a cow's on a milk farm, it's producing milk twice a day. Lots of calcium, lots of protein. What does a cow eat? Grass, corn, soy. It's not supposed to eat corn and soy, but it does. And yet loaded with calcium. So the plants are a great source of calcium. Plants are the ultimate source of calcium. Meat doesn't have any calcium in it. You have to get it from the plants. And where does cows get their protein from? Plants. So you're just eating recycled protein if you're eating cows or pigs or chickens or whatever it is. So I want to talk about vitamin B12 because that is something that you do get in an omnivore diet that you don't get in a plant-based diet, much of. And so I take Dr. Joe's B complex every day, and it has B12 in it. Now, there's two types of B12. You need to know this. One is called cyanocobalamin. One is called methylcobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is the cobalamin, which is B12, is hooked onto a molecule of cyanide. Cyano. Cyanide is toxic to humans. Methylcobalamin is methylated. It's in a form that we can use. It has a methyl group attached to it, and it's a form that we can use. In fact, it's the preferred form. Now, about 60% of people can convert the cyanocobalamin into methylcobalamin. 40% of you out there have a genetic flaw in the MTHFR pathway, the genetic pathway, and you can't convert the cyanocobalamin to methylcobalamin, and so you don't really get to utilize it. And so you may be taking a supplement that is not methylated, and you're just peeing it out. You're wasting your time, and you're building up cyanide in the body. So that's why I always take methylated B vitamins. And B vitamins are necessary because they help you metabolize food, they help your cells utilize glucose. So important for so many different functions. Brain function, B vitamin deficiency can cause numbness and tingling, cause cracks around the mouth. So B vitamins are vital, and a lot of us don't get enough. That's why I take Dr. Joe's B complex every day. We have some B vitamins in Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I like to hedge my bets and take both. So the minimum supplements would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. And I want you taking them every day. Make it part of your life. At this point, I can't get out of the house without taking my Super Greens and Essential Source. It's so ingrained in me. It gives me so much energy. I feel great. I just did an interview the other day for a new employee, and I told him I've been in practice 40 years, and he's looking at me. He goes, "That's not possible, Doc." He says, "What, were you 3 when you started?" And I smiled. I said, "Thank you." And I told him I'm in my mid-60s. And he said, "You look like you're about 45. He says, "What's your secret?" I said, "My secret is I don't age myself. I don't get I go out in the sun, but not on my face. I get about 10 or 15 minutes worth of sun. That helps build up my vitamin D levels. That doesn't cause skin damage. After that, the skin damage occurs. So I get out of the sun before my skin starts to damage. I take Dr. Joe's Super Greens. I take Essential Source. I take adrenal support. I take Dr. Joe's estrogen regulator to keep my testosterone from converting into estrogen. I take men's hormone support. I take omega-3 fatty acids necessary for brain function, vitamin D. So I take about 8 or 10 different supplements a day. But I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. You save so much money by eating a healthy diet and taking supplements than you would the other way around. Well, Dr. Joe, I got to buy the supplements. Yeah. Okay, you can buy 1 drink? Yeah. Okay, there's your whole day's. That's 2 days worth of supplements, maybe 3 days worth of supplements right there sometimes. So believe me, you're going to save so much money by eating right. So you want to make sure your B vitamins are methylated because you have it. And now you can do an MTHFR test. In fact, I had it done. I did it just for giggles. And sure enough, I have the MTHFR genetic flaw. I can't methylate my vitamins. But I take methylated vitamins anyway, so it didn't matter. So B12, yes, you need to supplement if you're eating a vegan diet, but you know what? That's such a minor thing compared to if you're eating an omnivore diet where you need to supplement with everything else. Protein. Let's answer the question. Everybody's thinking it. I got to answer it. Dr. Joe, where do you get your protein from? Well, so far, 38 years, no protein deficiency. I haven't died yet. Again, I look about 15, 20 years younger than I am. So what's the secret? Your body only needs about 8 to 10% of its total caloric intake as protein. Everything else is wasted. Now, if you're training or elite athlete, maybe you need 12%, okay? But most of us are not elite athletes. The rest is wasted. So what happens to it? It's an acid. It has to be broken down and passed out. So it has to go through my liver, and it goes up through my kidneys, and that can irritate my kidneys. And there was an interesting study I read a couple of years ago, and it said that animal proteins can act like a knife and just tear up your kidneys as it's passing through the kidneys. Plant protein, same amount of protein, no damage to the kidneys. So much better. So I get plenty of protein. There's professional bodybuilders now. I know was it Tennessee Titans a couple of years ago. I don't know if they're still doing it. Half the team went plant-based. And their performance, like shot through the ceiling. So we're seeing such an exponential benefit to a plant-based diet. If you're an athlete, if you're a non-athlete, if you're mommy, if you're daddy, whoever you are, plant-based diet gives you everything you need and way more protein than you even need. One study I just read recently that if you eat a vegan diet, you're still getting about 60% more protein than necessary. A variety of vegan diets, a good quality vegan diet. So don't worry about the protein. It's never an issue. What you should worry about is, am I digesting my protein? Because if you have heartburn, acid reflux, diarrhea, constipation, bad breath, chances are you're not digesting your proteins properly. So it's not what you ingest, it's what you digest. Big difference. So make sure you're getting enough quality protein, but make sure you have the ability to digest it. Now, when I eat raw food, I don't take a digestive enzyme because at my age, I'm still producing enzymes, but not like I used to. If I eat a cooked meal, let's assume I'm going to have soup, okay? Those enzymes, whatever was ever in there is cooked to death. Anything above 110 degrees, the enzymes die because enzymes are proteins. So I take a digestive enzyme. And on the website, drjoe.com, we have Dr. Joe's digestive enzyme. And I take that every day if I'm eating a cooked meal. I try to eat something raw at every meal so I don't have to take it. Sometimes I don't have that luxury. Now, if I'm just going to have a little salad, like I was at the restaurant the other day, and it was a steakhouse, and they gave me a little romaine lettuce and some oil. I guess it was olive oil. I don't even know. So that wasn't enough raw food, so I took an enzyme with it, and I had tofu steaks at the time. And tofu steaks were fine. It was sliced tofu with some teriyaki sauce on it. It tasted good. It wasn't a problem. They also had Brussels sprouts that were cooked in olive oil, not in butter, so I ate Brussels sprouts as well. And spectacular meal. Felt great, felt light, felt loose, and I didn't feel weighed down. And that's another thing, that I want to have as much energy as I can every day. Because there is an end to this game, folks. This ain't dress rehearsal. And I want to have as much energy as I can every day. I don't drink coffee because coffee is an acid, robs my body of calcium. Coffee is also one of the most highly sprayed food there is in your diet. When I say sprayed with chemicals, sprayed with anti-fungicides, chemicals. And so I don't drink coffee. And also caffeine gives me a headache, so that's another reason I don't drink coffee. But I want to have as much energy as I can, and it takes a lot of energy to digest animal proteins. Doesn't take a lot of energy to digest plant proteins. So I want to feel good. I want to have energy. I want to enjoy my social life. I want to enjoy my work. I want to enjoy speaking with you guys. And that's how I do it. It's not a secret. It's not so much what I do, it's what I don't do. So eating the right foods is key. And again, it's so much cheaper than everything else. So nutritional deficiencies, if you're going to a plant-based diet, you don't have to worry about that. You're getting plenty of proteins. And there's 20 proteins, 20 amino acids in the human diet. 9 of them are called essential. Essential means I got to get them from an outside source. I can't get them from other foods. If it's not essential, it means my body can take other foods and convert it into that. But there's 9 essential amino acids. You get all of them in your plants, plenty of them. And that's why you want to eat a variety of foods too, because different foods have different nutrients. Now, plant-based vegan diets can be low in vitamin D. That being said, most people are low in vitamin D. I don't care what your diet is. You're not going to get vitamin D from eating a steak or a hamburger or a taco, and you're not going to get vitamin D from eating tofu. Now, you can get vitamin D2 from things like mushrooms, but it has to be converted into vitamin D3. So the ultimate, like we talked about earlier, is get about 20 minutes in the sun with your arms and legs exposed, 15 to 20 minutes. Once your skin feels a little warm, you're done for the day. That's it. So if I go to a pool, I lay under I always have an umbrella with me. And then if I get in the water, I use a sunscreen. Now, this just came out this week. The FDA has said there are no safe sunscreens out there because we didn't realize the chemicals in the sunscreen are being absorbed into the blood. Years ago, we didn't know that. There are 2 recommended sunscreens I shouldn't say there are none. There are 2 ingredients that are safe: zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Now, I'll call this Dr. Joe was right. I've been talking about zinc oxide and titanium dioxide for about, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years now. And it's a barrier. That's the kind of sunscreen you rub on, it leaves a little white film on you. That's okay. The FDA says that's fine. It says also don't use the aerosol ones because aerosol, of course, is flammable, but those little particles, those nanoparticles can be absorbed into your lungs and cause problems. So you should have a natural sunscreen and the main ingredient being zinc oxide or titanium dioxide and should leave a white film on you. Now you could rub it in so it doesn't look so, doesn't look so white, but that's what you want and that's it. And I was so excited when that story came out because I reported on sunscreen years ago and exact same thing that the report said. So now it's finally made mainstream. So zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, that's it. And there are some natural ones. Usually get them in a health food store. I've seen some sunscreens say zinc oxide on it, and then I read the ingredients, has all the other chemicals in it, and they throw a little zinc oxide in there. I predict, and I'm never wrong in my predictions when it comes to this, you're going to see more and more commercial sunscreen companies putting out saying zinc oxide and titanium dioxide because of this FDA report. Don't be fooled. It should have very few ingredients, and it should be zinc oxide, titanium dioxide. So once again, Dr. Joe was right. But it's okay to get a little sun, but after that, it causes damage. It doesn't cause damage for up to about 15 minutes. Then after that, it causes 15 or 20 minutes, then it causes damage. Years ago, I was dating a gal. She was 11 years older than me, and she was Miss Wisconsin. She was a very famous anchor on CNN and beautiful woman. And she looked so young, even at 11 years older than me. And I asked her one day, I said, what's your secret? She goes, don't get sun on your face. And I thought, wow, this was 30 years ago? Yeah. So kind of cool that she knew then, and it works. So stay away from that. Some people say if you're eating a plant-based diet, it's difficult dining out. That's not the case. There's always something. You could always ask for side dishes. You could always, look at the side dishes and have some broccoli and some Brussels sprouts and some cauliflower and a baked potato, and you're fine. So you're not going to starve, believe me. Again, I've never missed a meal ever. And if you're still worried, grab some almonds, grab some cashews, little, packets, put in your glove compartment. I have them in my glove compartment. Because if I'm ever rushing somewhere and I don't even have time to stop, I could always just grab a bag and open them up and eat them. Now, don't let them go rancid, of course. If they're expired, throw them away and get some new ones. But for 50 cents a bag, that's really a great snack. And it's a heck of a lot cheaper than going to a restaurant and spending $10, $20. So that's just a little trick I have. I always have snacks in my office drawer. I have dried organic fruit. I have nuts. So it's always around, and not so much even for the health reasons, for the convenience issue and for the cost. Still so much cheaper than anything else you're doing. We talked earlier about wheat and dairy products. Wheat, when I was a kid, when you were a kid, depending on how old you are, was very tall, and it wasn't sprayed with glyphosate. What we've done now is we've hybridized the wheat. Didn't genetically modify it, hybridized it to make it shorter so the energy in the plant goes to producing wheat kernels and not so much leaves and things like that. And the protein levels are much higher. But the problem is it's gliadin and glutenin, which are the proteins that are found in gluten, and they're very hard to digest. And when flour's separated, it's gliadin and gluten, and when it becomes a dough, it becomes gluten. And there's a chemical in there that acts like morphine. Is it gliadomorphine? I think that's what it is. And it stimulates the morphine receptor sites in your brain so you get high from it. That's why you love bread so much. That's why I love bread so much. We all do. You're getting high from it. Same thing with dairy. It has casomorphines in it, and the casein gets you high. It activates the morphine receptor sites in the brain, and you get stoned from it. So why wouldn't you want to do it? Get high from it. So just be careful when you want to eat a cookie and then you want to eat a box of cookies. That's why. And the sugar also releases endorphins in the brain, dopamine. And so you're getting high from that too. So if you have wheat and sugar together, you have two different things. And dairy products, which is what a cookie is usually made of, three different things stimulating the receptor sites in the brain, getting you high. No wonder it's hard to stop eating it. And that's why I always said I can't eat a cookie. I can eat a box of cookies, but I can't eat a cookie. If you have a vegan gluten-free cookie or vegan gluten-free bread, you're going to find you could eat a slice of it. Hey, it doesn't taste as good, I'll be honest with you. But you're not going to get that stimulation from it that you're getting from these other foods. And there's a whole field of food science out there trying to figure out how do I stimulate the parts of the brain? How do I stimulate the parts of the tongue that release endorphins and pleasure chemicals in the brain to get high? And that's why it's so hard to change your diet. And that's why I tell people, give me 60 days. Get on Super Greens and Essential Source. Get on B Complex. Get on vitamin D. Get on digestive enzymes. And cut out the bad foods and watch what happens when the brain reboots itself. Crazy, the results. We have a 21-day detox. It's on the website, drjoe.com. Just type in 21-day. And for 21 days, I can actually reset your hypothalamus, which is the part of the brain that gives you pleasure, and you get high from it and makes you hungry. And so it's also nucleus accumbens. And you get high from these things. And when I reboot the brain, you're able to make better decisions. And you lose weight at the same time. So it's kind of cool. So this is a lot of information. So if you have health issues, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, sciatica, carpal tunnel syndrome, come see us. Let's see if chiropractic care is the treatment you need. Maybe you need something called acoustic wave therapy. Acoustic wave therapy sends really fast impulses into a joint, breaks up scar tissue, increases circulation, recruits stem cells into the area to help regenerate some of the joint. It's never going to be like it was when you were young, but acoustic wave therapy is amazing. We also use that for erectile dysfunction. You can use acoustic wave, nitric oxide to increase circulation, home therapy. We give you a home therapy kit to use at home, and it naturally restores function, sexual function in most cases. Not all, but most. So we can do that for you. We have a medical doctor on staff. We can do cold laser. Cold laser is all the buzz now. It stimulates the mitochondria in the cell to generate energy. I use it on my brain. I use it on my pituitary gland, my stomach. Amazing. Knee. I have an old knee injury from hockey. Amazing results we see. Nutrition, of course. If you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Normally, the first visit in person is $940. We've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays on your follow-up visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. I don't know anybody who does that, all that, just the x-rays for that price. We're doing it all. So, and then if further care is necessary, we discuss it. We talk about your insurance, what coverage you have, Medicare. If the VA refers you to us, the VA pays for the visits. We are on the VA referral network. Car accidents. I teach doctors and lawyers and physical therapists how to treat car accident cases. There are so many clinics out there that are scammers. They're doing junk work. They're running up the bill, and you're not getting the care you need. And it hurts me when I see people come in. Well, I got a phone call saying I should go to this doctor. Or I got a phone call saying I shouldn't come to you. I should go to this other doctor. That's a scam. No one will ever call you and tell you to go see a doctor if you're in a car accident. Don't fall for it. It's illegal. It's actually a felony. So if you want to make an appointment, you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, drjoe.com. All the supplements we talked about are on the website, drjoe.com. You can make an appointment virtually if you want to. I can do a virtual appointment with you. But let's get to the cause of your healthcare problems and not just treat the symptoms. I know it's a novel approach in healthcare, and very few people are doing it. But I was talking to a fellow yesterday, as a matter of a couple of days ago, and he's bringing this new water in from Peru, and it's really cool. I liked it. I won't say the name. I didn't have permission to do it, but I liked it. It really was tasty. Had a little bit of fizz to it. Really tasty. And he says the trend, and he worked for the big soda company. I won't say which one. And he says the trend now is functional water, functional foods that actually give you nutritional benefits, not just are a food. So he sees the trend. The big soda companies are seeing the trend, and that's why you're seeing them add vitamins to their water. You're seeing them add antioxidants to the water, because the trend is going away from the sugars and the high fructose corn syrups, and they're going toward, why should I drink your water? So anyway, he came to me and asked me to consult with him on how he can get his water in the market and make it attractive. And I said, that's easy. We can add things like B complex to it. We can add nitric oxide to it. A lot of things you can do to make it functional and good quality functional, not cyanocobalamin, but methylcobalamin, and make it very functional. And so he's excited. He wants to take over the water industry, and I'd love to help him. So you're seeing the trend. You're seeing more and more doctors sending people to people like me for nutrition evaluations, chiropractic evaluations, digestive issues. Go see Dr. Joe. He's the master of digestive problems. And therapists send patients to us because they can't get the patient's brain working right. We can use cold laser on the brain. We can fix the guts. You can absorb nutrients. So I love the fact that after 40 years of me slaving and toiling, that all the work we've done has paid off. And more people are realizing that the natural way is less expensive, more effective, better for the environment, better for you, no downside to it. Less drugs. So make an appointment, drjoe.com. Stop suffering needlessly. All the supplements, Super Green, Essential Source, nitric oxide, B complex, vitamin D, all on the website in the store section, drjoe.com. Send me any questions you have on healthcare. Send it through the website. I'm happy to answer it. I usually answer within 24 hours as long as I can get to it. So the website's a great source of information. Follow me on social media. This is your homework. At Dr. Joe Esposito. So just type in Dr. Joe Esposito, all one word. I'm there. Follow me. We post every single day. We give you health tips, 1-minute health tips, absolutely free. If you're a podcast junkie, go to your podcast service, type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. And we post podcasts at least twice a week. So you have my website. You have social media, Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Dr. Joe Esposito, all one word. You have podcasts, Dr. Joe for the health of it. There's really no reason why most of you are suffering with health problems. I can't fix everybody, but I can co-manage your case with other doctors. I can try to get to the cause of your healthcare problem. I can recommend changes in your lifestyle. We have over 4,000 hours of content on my website, drjoe.com. And every week I come out with new content. So why wouldn't you want that information? And the nice part is you don't have to do it all. Do some of it. All right, you know what? Of the 7 deadly sins, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, I'm willing to give up artificial sweetener. Great. Perfect start. Let's start there. Well, what about the meat and the dairy? All right, we'll get that next week. We'll get that in 2 weeks. We'll get that in a month. Let's start the process. Start taking supplements and watch the changes that occur in your body when your body finally gets some nutrients that it's been starving for, maybe your whole life. Incredible things happen when you get the nervous system working, digestive system working, and your diet straightened out. So once again, drjoe.com, folks. I'm almost out of time. If you have questions, the website's there 24 hours a day. But the best thing you can do is make an appointment to come see us. Let's check your nervous system, digestive system, and your diet. So we talked today, the topic was the dangers of a plant-based diet. There really aren't any. Okay, vitamin B12, maybe. That's about it. But if you're eating an omnivore diet, you have a lot of other issues, a lot bigger issues than that. So it's a lot of fun. Give it a shot. And go to my website, drjoe.com, type in, so what can I eat? If you don't like it, go back to your old diet. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends. We'll catch you next time. All right. You have questions?
When eating flaxseed, is there a benefit eating them whole, or do you need to crush them?
Eating them whole will probably pass right through you, so it's not bad for you. It just isn't that great for you. I would say grind them up. And you want to grind them as soon as you eat them. So get a coffee grinder. It'll cost you $10 at Walmart. And grind it and then eat it. Because as soon as you grind it, it starts to oxidize and break down. So you're going to get more benefits. Now, you can buy them pre-ground. It's okay. But best bang for your buck, grind them right before you eat them.
Does acoustic wave therapy help with surgical adhesions?
Yes. In many cases, yes. Yes. And if you've been told you're bone on bone, you need a knee replacement, hip replacement, come see us first and let's see what we can do.
Are spray tans healthy?
No. That's easy. Garrett?
Do you have any experience with patients coming off of Ambien after many years?
Yes, the sleep medications. Yeah, most medications you got to wean yourself off. I know one of my doctors got really sick and she had to take prednisone. And again, I'm not against medication. Well, she was stubborn and she just stopped at cold turkey and it wasn't a good thing. She goes, I am so moody. So, but yeah, with sleep medications, it doesn't really put you into sleep. It kind of knocks you out. And so by coming off it, you have to reset the brain to start producing melatonin. The problem with that is your body doesn't produce the right amounts of melatonin. Melatonin helps you sleep, but melatonin is one of the 2 antioxidants that protects your mitochondria. The mitochondria is the part of the cell that generates electricity. And it's the protector of the mitochondria. So if you're not producing enough melatonin, it's going to affect mitochondrial function as well. So wean yourself off it. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. You can talk to your medical doctor about what to do about that. But if I were on it, that's always a good way to cover my fanny, I would wean myself off it. You know, maybe if you're taking, I don't know how many you take, 2 a day, go to 1 a day, then take every other day, every third day. But the key here is if you're having sleep issues is fix your stomach. Because your stomach breaks proteins into amino acids, and the amino acid named tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin becomes melatonin. That's how you make your melatonin. So if you're not digesting your food properly, you don't have enough raw materials to produce melatonin. That's where you got to fix it, is fix the gut. So.
And then on repairing some of the functions of memory as it relates to effects of sleep medication.
Oh, sleep. Okay, yeah. Cold laser is amazing. We're seeing some amazing results with memory. We've had patients with stroke start to move better after like 3 or 4 treatments of cold laser. Cold laser is a real simple process. It's about 10 or 15 minutes. We charge $40 a treatment for it, so it's very, very affordable. And we're seeing some amazing results with everything. Again, my knee, I saw some great results with that. We're seeing results with chronic pain patients, stroke patients, memory patients. But fixing the gut again is going to give you the amino acids to produce the neurotransmitters to make the memory work. So you got to fix the gut when it comes to memory issues too, and the diet. Anything else? All right, folks, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. Remember, please follow me on all social media at Dr. Joe Esposito, and I will see you next time.